Hello and welcome. Tonight, court jails Ansaru leader for 15 years over illegal mining. Justice Oladotun Adefokwe Okoje urges Judiciary to uphold professionalism at her book launch. United Kingdom lifts travel restrictions on Kaduna State, citing improved security. And FBI places $100,000 bounty on suspects linked to Charlie Kirk's shooting.
On business news, Nigeria's crude output falls below OPEC quota in August as cartel keeps global oil demand growth forecast unchanged for 2025 and 2026.
On sports news tonight, Super Eagles to take on Venezuela in Houston friendly on November the 14th.
And from Abuja, the nation's capital, IGP cautions against laxity at the nation's borders.
Tonight, we begin from the courts, where a federal high court sitting in Abuja has convicted and sentenced Mahmoud Usman, a commander of the proscribed terrorist group Ansaru, to 15 years imprisonment. Usman, who was arraigned by the Department of State Services, the DSS, pleaded guilty to engaging in illegal mining activities, and the proceeds from these operations were reportedly used to acquire arms for terrorism and kidnapping. Presiding Judge Justice Emeka Nwite also ordered that the convict be remanded in DSS custody pending the trial on 31 additional charges filed against him by the service.
Because of the sensitive nature of the case, for national security considerations, and as you may have heard, the defendant, the first defendant in particular, has 31 other counts to defend. And the second defendant did not plead guilty to any count. So to ensure that we are able to protect our witnesses, to ensure the security, they have to be remanded at the custody of the Department of State Services.
Today we arraigned some suspects in connection with the Plateau as well as the Benue killings. So one of the suspects pleaded guilty and has been sentenced, rightly so, to 15 years imprisonment. This goes to further tell you that we are not playing. We are serious with the security of our country. And as you can see, we are almost in court every day. We also fielded another suspect, and that's in line with the Plateau matter for guns and ammunition racketing. So the security of our country is of utmost importance to us, and as we speak right now, we are on top of it. We are making sure that at every point in time, we'll make sure that each and every one of these criminals, wherever they are, however far they run, we'll always catch them. So we are happy with what we are doing so far.
And staying with legal matters, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has set aside the ruling of a federal high court in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, and allowed the appeal filed by First Bank of Nigeria against General Hydrocarbons Limited, GHL, with an order authorizing the sale of the crude oil abroad, FPSO Tamaro Tokoni, with proceeds to be paid into the interest high-yielding escrow account and warehoused by the Chief Registrar of the court, pending the hearing and determination of the case at the trial court or the Court of Arbitration. Justice Polycarp Kwaha, who read the lead judgment, also appointed the Chief Registrar of the Court of Appeal to take charge and the possession of the crude oil cargo and to protect the same against dissipation or unauthorized disposition by any party, pending the hearing and determination of the case at the trial court of arbitration. Earlier this year, Justice Emmanuel Obili of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, had dismissed First Bank's suit, which alleged fraudulent diversion of proceeds of sale from the oil cargo, which it said GHL had pleaded as security for a loan. But the judge upheld the preliminary objection filed by GHL and held that the dispute was not a maritime claim, but a debt recovery. Dissatisfied with that ruling of the Federal High Court, First Bank proceeded to file an appeal against it. In its ruling on Thursday, the appeal court said the main issue in connection with the need to preserve the rest being the crude oil in the FPSO. And the court also set aside an earlier order of the trial court vacating the order of arrest of the second respondent. Retired Justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Oladotun Adefope-Okoje, is calling for the judiciary and calling on them to uphold the principles of professionalism, integrity, and a resolute stand against corruption, stressing that the country's progress depends on it. She made the call during the book launch in Abuja, where she also expressed appreciation for the presence of contributions of several dignitaries, including the former Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the 14th Emir of Kano, His Majesty Mohammed Sanusi II, and the former Justice of the Supreme Court, Honorable Justice Amina Oje, among others. Our correspondent, Dele Omoyeni, reports.
This is the launch of the fourth edition of a book titled Civil Litigation, a quick reference guide to substantive law and procedure, written by retired Justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Oladotun Adefope-Okoje.
The presence of the former president.
Dignitaries in attendance include former Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the 14th Emir of Kano, His Majesty Alhaji Sanusi Lamido, former Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Amina Oge, the Regent of Ijebu Land, Olorugun Soni Kuku, serving and retired judges, as well as the Archbishop of Kaduna Province. Some of the dignitaries speak on the impact of previous editions of the book.
It is absolutely important for us to keep a good record, not just of civil procedure, but more perhaps of the ways by which we can speed up our justice system, the ways by which we can improve the efficiency of our civil litigation outcomes.
So books like this, particularly in civil litigation, criminal, there's a lot more, and a lot more books on it. But civil litigation is an area that affects more people incidentally, and yet is not as what do you call it, broad-bitten as we would say.
Now I've gotten to a point where, with Justice Adefope's book, I actually go through the book, look for what I think is relevant, take pictures and send to my lawyers. I'm not a lawyer, but I just send to them and say, this is something you should look at.
All strata of justice in Nigeria have come here today to thank her for doing something to civil litigation where people can refer to.
Then, the author takes the podium, and she has strong words for the political class.
Dealing with primaries, absolutely no internal democracy from the parties, the hierarchy of the headship of the parties, no internal democracy. Somebody will win, you will substitute another person. Of course, they are going to go to court. This is a message also to the politicians. You have to help this country. You have to help this country. And then the judges themselves, he will not allow us to be tools in their hands, because it is very attractive. Any judge that wants to be multi-billionaire, you can do it easily. You don't even have to ask for it, they are chasing you.
She also has an appeal to the judiciary.
I now want to plead with our judges that please, let us elevate merit and justice over technicality. Please.
The book reviewer and the representative of the Speaker of the House of Representatives give more insight into the book.
The book's contribution is therefore twofold. First, it serves as a manual for the immediate demands of the practice and adjudication, while also acting as a monument that records and interprets the development of civil procedure in Nigeria.
The counsels that have been put in this book is for us to go into it and see the advice that a learned person like her has given to society to give back to Nigeria, look at the bills that are before us in National Assembly, and see how to fine-tune them so that it be updated and it be passed.
The consensus is that this book will significantly add to the body of knowledge for the judiciary. Dele Omoyeni, Channels Television News.
The United Kingdom has revised its travel advisory for Kaduna State, reclassifying it as from the red category to amber category, a significant change that now permits British citizens and their partners to travel freely to the state and explore investment opportunities. This announcement was made by the Development Director at the UK Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, Cynthia Rowe, during the signing of a new mutual accountability framework in the Kaduna State Government House at the Sir Kashim Ibrahim Government House. She also explains that the state's reclassification to amber reflects the UK government's recognition of improved security situation in the region. And Governor Ubasani, on his own part, highlighted the positive impact of the UK-Kaduna partnership.
We know that security is a key constraint, and it's also a key enabler of growth and of development. And Kaduna has weathered a period of heightened security challenges. One of the things that I'm really here to recognise today is the achievement, the great achievement of the security situation in Kaduna. And for the UK, Kaduna has been moved from the UK travel advice that we give out from red, which was our sort of high alert status, to amber. And we recognise that this is thanks to the steadfast efforts of the Governor Ubasani and of your team around you in terms of making the state safer for people. So congratulations on that. It's very well done.
The KMAP serves as a tool for accountability, ensuring transparency and alignment with the aspirations of the present administration. The key achievements of the Kaduna State Mutual Accountability Frameworks include health sector improvements with expanded access to quality care, reduced maternal and child mortality rates, and enhanced responses to public health emergencies. In education, increased enrollment, improved school infrastructure, better teacher training, and improved learning outcomes, including opportunity for entrepreneurial skills. Agriculture has experienced significant growth, receiving over 10% of the total budget of 2025, the highest allocation in recent years. This funding aims to align with FCDO and other partners' interventions to enhance productivity in crops and livestock.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has approved 14 political associations to advance to the next stage of their efforts to become registered political parties. A statement by INEC National Commissioner and the chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Sam Olumekun, gave the names of the cleared associations, which includes the All Democratic Alliance, ADA, National Democratic Party, NDP, Advanced Nigeria Congress, ANC, and 11 others. Mr. Olumekun also reveals that the Commission, while reviewing preparations for upcoming off-cycle governorship elections and the end-of-tenure area council election in the Federal Capital Territory, the FCT, examined the report from its committee tasked with reviewing letters of intent submitted by associations seeking party registration. The Commission received a total of 171 registration requests, out of which 14 associations satisfied the requirements to progress, while 157 did not meet the necessary criteria. In part two, after the break, Inspector General of Police cautions against laxity at the nation's borders. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Channels Television in Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Courts jails Ansaru leader for 15 years over illegal mining. Justice Oladotun Adefope Okoje urges Judiciary to uphold professionalism at her book launch. United Kingdom lifts travel restrictions in Kaduna State, citing improved security. And And the FBI places $100,000 bounty on suspect linked to Charlie Kirk's shooting. The news at 10 continues now. Let's head over to Abuja studios where Gloria Omezoke is standing by to give us more. Over to you, Gloria.
Well, thank you, Anne. We turn attention now to the police, where the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, is asking commanders of border patrol bases to enhance their operational effectiveness by adopting a proactive approach, warning that complacency can no longer be tolerated. Speaking in Abuja during a conference with the commanders, the IGP emphasized that modern policing must move beyond reactivity, noting that crime has become faster, smarter and more global in nature.
With a landmass of 923,788 square kilometers, Nigeria shares land borders with 4 African countries in the south and northern region. These countries are Cameroon, the Republic of Benin, Chad Republic, and the Republic of Niger. Nigeria equally shares maritime borders with 3 African countries, including Ghana, Sao Tome and Principe, and Equatorial Guinea. Determined to address the porous nature of the nation's borders, the Inspector General of Police is meeting with commanders of border patrol bases as he speaks to the level and impact of infiltration.
For too long, the porosity of our borders has been exploited. We have seen the inflow of small arms and light weapons that fuel violence in our villages and cities. We have seen contraband goods smuggled in, crippling our local industries. We have seen vulnerable women and children deceived and trafficked across borders. We have confronted terrorists and criminal syndicates who take advantage of these weaknesses to infiltrate and destabilize our communities.
He speaks on the threats and challenges being faced by the force and the need to surmount them.
Just last year, a shipping container containing over 800 rifles and 100,000 rounds of ammunition hidden among furniture from Turkey were intercepted by Nigerian security agencies. That interception was not luck. It was a result of intelligence, vigilance, and collaboration. It prevented what could have been one of the deadliest influxes of arms into our country.
Beyond the challenges, the need for new strategies to combat the menace is highlighted.
We cannot fight 21st century crime with 28th century tools. That's why we must embrace technology, surveillance systems, drones, biometric scanners, real-time data analysis. These are not luxuries, they are necessities, and we will continue to fight for them until every officer on the front line is equipped to match the suspicion of those we face.
As the meeting continued behind closed doors, the police leadership is pledging to improve efforts to secure the nation's borders more than ever before.
And to health, the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Partey, says there is need for Africa to take full responsibility of the fight against malaria. Speaking at the 2025 Big Push on Malaria high-level dialogue in Abuja, Professor Partey stressed that while support from development partners remain important, the continent must first mobilize its own political will, resources and innovations to lead the effort.
Should leave the idea that it is someone else's problem. Malaria is our problem. And if we own that problem, then we have to first do what we need to do, and then we appreciate those who contribute to it, whether it's the UK, whether it's the US, whether it's the Global Fund and others. And with new tools, we participate in constructing those tools and approaches through research and development, through other innovations that
while the Chief Executive Officer of the Rollback Malaria Partnership says the Big Push initiative is a strategic call to action to do things differently.
In this world, in this age of 2025, I think it's time to come back and say enough is enough. We need to do things differently, and that's why we're saying collectively we need a big push. A big push against malaria, against the mosquito that has outsmarted us for many, many years.
To company news, the West Africa Container Terminal WACT has commissioned a solar-powered plastic recycling center in Eleme local government area of Rivers State. The initiative is part of the company's commitment to environmental sustainability and community development. Speaking at the launch on behalf of the WACT Managing Director, Daniela Silva of APM Terminals described the project as a significant step towards addressing waste management challenges and promoting environmentally friendly practices.
Plastic waste management remains one of the toughest challenges in parts of Nigeria, including Rivers State, with poor handling that results in health risks and environmental hazards.
To a prosperous and a progressive One community, and to a brighter future for all of us. And may God bless this project in Jesus' name.
With rapid technological advancements in more developed societies, innovative solutions are now making it possible to tackle this menace in smarter, safer, and more sustainable ways. This innovation is what the WACT APM collaboration is introducing in their host community of One in Eleme local government area of Rivers State through this solar-powered plastic recycling center.
This initiative will stimulate economic activity and empower residents. Importantly, the majority of those engaged in the plant's operations will be drawn from the One community, with youth taking center stage. The knowledge and skills acquired from operating this plant will not only remain within the community, but also create avenues for other meaningful economic ventures.
To achieve excellent results, the West Africa Container Terminal is partnering Givo, a company that is committed to recycling about 90 metric tons of plastic waste annually in the community.
For us, when we started this, it was really simple. It was about how can we use waste to transform communities? How can we use this thing that, blocks our drainages, provides or makes, waste is one of the biggest contributors to healthcare or poor healthcare in West Africa. How can we use this to create value in these communities?
To localize the expertise, several indigenes of One have been enrolled for training, a development warmly received by both the beneficiaries and the community leadership.
Let me tell you, all our drainage that has been giving us wahala now will be resolved. It's going to be resolved.
WACT is the only company that has come into One to tell us thank you for giving them space to do their business.
As a team, we are cooperative. We go out in the morning, we come back, we sort the material, they shred it. After then, we scale it. And that was the end of the work. We used to come by 9, close by 5:30.
For WACT APM, this innovation, alongside other projects in their host community of One, Rivers State, reflects the company's confidence in the people and underscores its commitment to corporate social responsibility across 4 focus areas of education, health and environment, training and development, and infrastructure development.
Now, Sniper, a trusted name in pest control, has expanded its household products range with the launch of 2 new variants designed specifically for Nigerian homes. At an unveiling event in Lagos, Saro Life Care Limited introduced the Sniper Hot Shot Multi-Purpose Insect Killer and the Sniper Bed Bug Killer, aimed at enhancing pest control effectiveness for households. The brand also used the occasion to unveil its latest brand ambassadors, reinforcing its commitment to consumer engagement and brand visibility.
It's a reintroduction of a household product known for its high efficacy in getting rid of rodents and pests. Sniper, a product of Sarah Life Care Limited. This launch officially unveils a new line of household products, adding to new variants to the Sniper family. The event is also a chance for the brand to highlight its focus on consumer well-being.
These innovations are only part of a larger story. At Sarah Life Care, our mission is very simple. We want to enhance the quality of life for Nigerian families through solutions that are effective, affordable, and safe. Whether it's through pest control, hygiene, or wellness.
Can you give it up for Sniper Hot Shot?
The two new variants are the Sniper Hot Shot Multi-Purpose Insect Killer and the Sniper Bedbug Killer. The Hot Shot is designed to deliver fast and lasting action against common household pests, while the Bedbug Killer tackles one of the most stubborn challenges in the home to help families.
For us to be an insurance company and to play in this market for over 20 years, it shows we have that equity with the consumers. So for us, the customer is king. And what we've done over the years, we leverage on this brand, the Sniper brand, and also to ensure there's visibility. Because if you have a product and it's not visible for people to take off the shelf, there's not. So over the years, to build that leverage, having our product across all channels, whether it's open market, like your regular market, or even the upper market stores. And with the consumer that we have, I believe this should be a good product and a good base general for us as well.
Join me in welcoming to the family right now.
It's also the unveiling of the Sniper Squad, the brand's latest ambassadors.
I feel like almost every Nigerian knows Sniper. And it's exciting to actually be a part of a safer, healthier household, line. I think this collection is a lot fresher and more user-friendly.
With the launch of these two products and the introduction of new ambassadors, Sniper is reinforcing its reputation as a trusted household brand for pest control solutions in Nigerian homes.
When the news at 10 returns, Nigeria's crude production slips under OPEC quota. That's in business news. Let's join us again.
Welcome back. The governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, has officially flagged off the disbursement of 1.1 billion naira to support small and medium-sized enterprises across the state's 14 local government areas. Speaking at the launch of the program in Gusau, the governor reaffirmed his administration's commitment to revitalizing the state's economy through targeted support for local businesses.
It's the official flag-off ceremony for the disbursement of over 1 billion naira to small businesses under the State Action on Business Enabling Reform Program, SABA, supported by the World Bank in Zamfara State. According to the breakdown, 2,000 beneficiaries will receive each 150,000 naira, 1,000 beneficiaries will get 500,000 naira each, while 60 beneficiaries will receive 5 million naira each. The State Commissioner for Commerce, Industry and Tourism, Abdulrahman Tombido, explained the rationale behind the intervention aimed at supporting small-scale businesses.
At this juncture, I wish to thank the World Bank for their technical and financial partnership, and I express gratitude to His Excellency, our performing governor, for his vision and political will to prioritize private sector-led recovery and growth. I also thank the State Council for SABA, under the leadership of His Excellency, the Deputy Governor, and our various local government committees, traditional leaders, business associations, the staff of the ministry, and of course, the SABA champion, for their dedication in bringing this initiative to reality.
The Director General of the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, Charles Udi, who highlighted the impact of the initiative on businesses in Zamfara State and across the country, asked beneficiaries to utilize the funds judiciously.
It's not everybody, it's not every time that you see this kind of transformational benefit happen in the northern part of Nigeria. You are a governor that understands. And because you understand, I am very confident that the transformational benefits of entrepreneurial development will be reaped and very evident in Zamfara State.
While Government Dauda Lawal reaffirmed his administration's resolve to transform the economy through policies and programs designed to promote entrepreneurship and growth.
The State Action Business Enabling Reforms, known as SABER, is a program that represents a landmark in our economic renewal. It is a 5-year performance-based multi-sectoral initiative supported by the World Bank, which is carefully designed to dismantle barriers, stimulate private enterprise, and generate sustainable jobs for our people.
3,060 small and medium-sized business owners are expected to benefit from the intervention, which is projected to enhance economic activity and uplift livelihoods across Zamfara State.
Let's now join Dominic Iwewu to take us through stories in the world of business.
Thank you, Anne. On business news, after 2 consecutive months of meeting the Organization for the Petroleum Exporting Countries' 1.5 million barrels oil output quota, Nigeria's crude oil production slipped below that target in August. According to latest data from OPEC through direct communication, the country pumped an average of 1,434,000,000 barrels per day in August, and that's down from 1.507 million barrels achieved in July. The figure, which is the lowest in 6 months this year, comes after Nigeria had shown signs of recovery in June and July, following months of underperformance. It's earnings seasons on the Nigerian exchange, and listed companies are taking stock. Industrial giant Dangote Cement is in the spotlight with its facts behind the numbers presentation, where the company reviewed its performance for the previous year and made optimistic projections for the years to come.
That is the sound of the closing gong, rung by the board of industrial giant Dangote Cement, signifying the close of trading on the floor of the Nigerian exchange on the day of its fact behind the numbers presentation. The event highlights the company's financial performance, market milestones, and plans for expansion. Highlights of the financial result for 2024 shows that the company's revenue grew by 62.2% to 3.58 trillion naira. Profit before tax increased by 10.5% to 732.53 billion naira, while profit after tax jumped by 12.3% to 503.24 billion naira within the year. It is also a profitable year for its shareholders, as the board of Dangote Cement proposes 30 naira per share dividend, demonstrating consistent commitments to returns on investment. The group financial officer speaks about the funding mix adopted by the company.
The former one is the commercial paper type funding. As at today, I have about 200 billion worth of commercial paper being traded that is available, that you are aware of, at an interest rate of about 21%. I also have bond of about 219 billion at an interest rate of 22% on average. Those are the formal ones that you are aware of. Now, I have the informal one that has been, done by management, which has reduced the price to almost zero.
On his part, the group managing director highlights the company's strategy for growth in the years ahead.
In this year of 2025, you will be commissioning around 3 million ton capacity in Ivory Coast. Then in the next phase in 26, we are doing brownfield expansions in Cameroon, Senegal, South Africa. 27 in Nigeria, we have taken a big project of around 4.5 million tons of clinker at Itori. Again, in line with our export thing, this unit is dedicated only for exports. And that shows our confidence that we would be able to do that successfully. 2028, you will see a new plant coming up in Ethiopia.
The year 2024 was robust for Dangote Cement, but despite some economic challenges in the country, and the company says it is well positioned for more profitability and expansion across markets in Africa.
It's a fourth consecutive day of gains for Nigeria's stock market as investors continue their bargain hunting for some high-value equities on the NGX. Ladi Williams tells us more.
Well, day 4 of the week, and the bulls are not letting off this week with an additional 21 basis points rise, though. But volume and value, that dipped over 50% today, compared to yesterday. But we'll take that, still maintaining the 140,000 level. Gainers now, we see Brewer, Guinness Nigeria, that's up the chart today, closing at 143 naira, up at 10%. Sinai Leasing, not left out, 6 naira 60 kobo, up at 10%. Right now, most of the listed companies, they're releasing their earnings forecast for the fourth quarter and the full year, and investors are actually watching out for that. For the losers chart now, we see the insurers there topping the charts there, 9.94% for NEM Insurance, and Mansard there, 4.76%, but not enough to bring the bear in.
And that's it on Business News. Back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Dominic. And still to come on the news at 10, FBI places $100,000 bounty on suspects in the Charlie theft shooting. And that's on the foreign scene. Please join us again. Welcome back. The FBI in Salt Lake City has released images of a person of interest in Charlie Kirk's killing and has now placed an offer of $100,000 reward for information from the public to help apprehend the fleeing suspect, who appears to be of a college age. Here's Simon Pusey with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Attendees at the campus event where US conservative activist Charlie Kirk was fatally shot have described mass panic after a shot was heard.
Oh my God. Go, run.
The 31-year-old was killed after he was hit in the neck by a single bullet, which law enforcement believes came from a shooter on the roof of a nearby building. The influencer and close Donald Trump ally had been speaking to about 3,000 people on his American comeback tour at Utah Valley University. Videos on social media show Kirk talking about gun violence moments before he was shot.
A student went up there and asked Charlie Kirk a question about how many transgender shooters there had been in U.S. history. Charlie Kirk answered, the student gave him a rebuttal. And then Charlie Kirk goes to pick up the microphone to answer the second question, and that's when the shots went off.
We got there about an hour early and had found some what we thought were good seats. It wasn't until shortly after that we moved down to the fence and were allowed to sit just off from the stage where he presented. Everything went as planned. He actually even came out and handed my son, a couple of hats. So it was a wonderful, wonderful gesture, and we were excited. And after about the second question that was asked is about the time we heard the shot.
Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood.
At least 35 people have been killed in Israeli airstrikes on Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen. That's according to the Iran-backed group's health ministry. The Israeli military said it struck military targets in the capital Sana'a, including what it called the Houthis' military public relations headquarters, in response to recent missile and drone attacks on Israel. However, the Houthis' military spokesman said the targets were civilian, adding that journalists and passers-by were killed when the two offices were hit. At least 14 people in Bali in Indonesia have been killed in what officials say are the island's worst floods in a decade. Torrential rains triggered severe flooding across most of the island, causing rivers to burst their banks. The rain has now stopped and water levels are receding, but rescuers are still searching for survivors. 2 people are still missing in an area where 8 deaths occurred. Since Tuesday, hundreds of residents have been evacuated as their homes were submerged. Major roads have been shut by landslides and at least 2 bridges damaged.
We agreed with them that West African nationals.
Ghana has become the latest country to accept people deported from the US as part of President Donald Trump's crackdown on illegal migration. President John Mahama said nationals from West African countries would now be taken in following a bilateral agreement with the US. He said 14 had already arrived. He cited the regional bloc ECOWAS's free movement protocol that allows citizens of member states to enter and reside in other West African countries without a visa for up to 90 days. Last month, the US deported 7 migrants to Rwanda, while in July 5 were sent to Eswatini and 8 others to South Sudan. The UK Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, has sacked Peter Mandelson as the UK's ambassador to the US after he faced mounting scrutiny over his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The Foreign Office says the decision was made in light of additional information from emails between the 2 men. According to the department, they show that the depth and extent of Peter Mandelson's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is materially different from that known at the time of his appointment. And the Irish broadcaster RTE has said it will not take part in the 2026 Eurovision Song Contest if the participation of Israel goes ahead. In a statement, RTE said that Ireland's participation in the event would be unconscionable given the ongoing and appalling loss of lives in Gaza. Ireland has won the contest 7 times in total, most recently in 1996. RTE will make a final decision once the Eurovision organisers, the European Broadcasting Union, makes its decision. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Ahead of October the 1st, the chaos in the ring boxing show happening in Lagos to mark Nigeria's Independence Day. A huge supporter and promoter of Nigeria's boxing, Ben Grace, advocating more programs to aid the development of the sport in the country. Gray told Channel Sport that it is important to keep the boxing space busy and keep identifying more opportunities in the sector. The Super Eagles of Nigeria will, on November the 14th, take on Venezuela in an international friendly at the Shell Henry Stadium that will serve as good preparations for December's Africa's Cup of Nations. The matchup will be Houston's first international football game since the 2025 Gold Cup final between the U.S. and Mexico in July. And Jamaican sprint legend Usain Bolt has backed either Christian Thompson or Oblique Seville to beat defending champion Noah Lyles in the 100 meters at the World Championship in Tokyo. When asked about Lyles' outspoken persona and his comment on Jamaican prospect in the Japanese capital, the 11-time world champion said he was not worried about his 100 meters world record of 9.58 seconds being broken anytime soon. And pole vault world record holder Alma Duplantis says he hopes the World Championship in Tokyo will be more fun than the apocalyptic Olympics 4 years ago. Duplantis is aiming to better his own world record for a 14th time and wants to enjoy the experience more than the Tokyo Olympics. But sports is back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Federal High Court in Abuja today jailed Ansari leader Mahmoud Usman for 15 years over illegal mining. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Mwawade. Good night, and please stay safe.